believe in you and the fact that you are my leader who in no way changes anything whatsoever in Torah, that's going to be clear. How is it possible that Korach could do this when Moshe says anyone who goes up against Moshe Rabbeinu and Torah is a clear proof that he and his ancestors never stood at Sinai. They were never there. And clearly, we know that Korach was there. We know that all Korach va'adasa were at Sinai. How is it possible that they would deny Moshe's emes, v'saraso emes? So Rav Moshe Schlesinger asked the question, and Rav Shach gave a teretz. And he said, man has bechira. And if a person doesn't want to see the emes, he can choose not to see the emes. Still, the Rav Elio Beer Finkel says, the Rambam did say that it's clear that the person doesn't stand at Sinai and he is the ancestors. So what else could one say regarding this basic question? And the Stipler had a mahalach, and his mahalach is as follows. The Medvar Mu'amurim, when the Rambam says that it has to be clear that nobody could deny after Sinai, this is only if there's no negias. It's only if there's a machlekes that a person says based on on the facts that deal with Sinai. But no, there's no question. There's no negias. There's no kin that type of a covenant involved. However, the Rambam didn't say what he said when there was a question of kin type of a covenant. Kin type of a covenant. Any question of jealousy, of lust, of desire for honor, and so much of it is involved in Parshas Korach, makes a different situation altogether. So that essentially addresses the inyan of especially with Korach, kol gadol mechavero yitzro gadol mimenu. And there's no question that Korach, in his own way, was a gadol in everything. And I won't go into that. That's a shmuz mifnei atzma. All right. After the machlokes begins, Moshe Rabbeinu sends for Dosan Vavirim, and they refuse to come. So Rashi, the Shlokish says, and Rashi brings it down, Mikan she'ein machzikin b'machlokes. Okay. So the Chassam Sofer says, what's ein machzikin b'machlokes? Never say, somebody is always involved in machlokes. It doesn't pay to try to even bring peace between them. A person sees two people not getting along. This one has a reputation already that he's not going to come to the table. Never do it. Don't be machlokas, because you never know. A person may change. It's iron. Moshe Rabbeinu had problems with Dosan Vavir from the very beginning. Very serious problems. Time after time after time. But he wasn't machzip and machlokas. Another approach in machzip and machlokas is you take the first step to break the ice. It's a good thing to start at home. How many of us are involved in machlokes, in beis medrash, in the street, with neighbors? Not that much. Where does the machlokes, where does sometimes a bit of a quarrel take place? Often, if it happens at all, in home. Outside, one should certainly be careful as well. But the fact is, we should be the first ones to take the step to be able to end the silence or to end the bit of a quarrel. Ein machzikin b'machlokes. There is another idea. There's a Kli Yakar that changed my whole mahalach in the inyan of Bikur Cholim. The Kli Yakar says, Moshe Rabbeinu clearly says, "Im kamos kol adam tamusim." If these people will die, like normal people die, and it says the Kli Yakar, and they get sick, and people come to visit them, etc. It's a raya shelo Hashem shalchani. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't send me. What has to happen? The ground opens up. This is the first time that Moshe Rabbeinu speaks in such a way that, first of all, normally it's Moshe Rabbeinu asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's the advocate. Please Hashem, don't. This time, he's no question. Don't turn towards al tifna l'tfila l'minchosam. Don't accept their davening. Don't accept any korban. Don't accept anything from them, and let the ground open up. So, just as an aside, the Ramban, Rabbeinu Bachai, the Rishonim clearly state that when this situation occurred, it wasn't a personal affront to Moshe Rabbeinu. He had other problems when people came and they criticized him. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to make certain that no one would ever think that there was any possibility that there was any credence, that there's any truth to what Korach had to say. Because Chas v'Shalom, if that were so, we wouldn't be sitting here. There would be no Torah's Moshe, there would be no Masorah, etc., etc. Clearly. They opened up their mouth against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Moshe Rabbeinu, the ground opened up its mouth, Mida Keneged Mida, destroys them, etc., etc. And Moshe Rabbeinu is not an advocate. He doesn't say, wait, give them a chance. There's no chance. It has to be clear. But let me go into the union of Bikur Cholim. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want them to get sick first. There had to be an open, ground open and swallow them. Besides from what I'm saying, which of course is accurate, that we don't want no question, involved as to, there could be some possible emes to what they're saying, but there's another consideration too. What is the reason the Kli Yakar says that, that a person who visits the sick helps the sick person to get well? So the Gemara brings it down, Lamed Ches in the door. And it uses our Gemara as the basis for the remez for Bikur Cholim. And the Kli Yakar says the following: a person goes to visit the sick, he can check on him, he can help him, etc. But that's true. Another consideration is Hachai Yiten Eliba. Just as we say, Tov Lechas Labeis, Ovu Milechas Labeis, Amishter Shachai Yiten Eliba. And a person says, this is what can happen to a person. He passes away, and he takes life more seriously, and he reviews his own life, etc. The same thing happens when a person visits the sick. Tov l'leches levaker es ha'choyle, because then a person is mefashbish b'maisim. He takes an accounting. He says, says he, I could be lying in that bed. And therefore, he becomes closer to Hashem because he now takes an accounting of his own behavior. When he walked in there, he wasn't thinking about tshuva. He wasn't thinking about his own behaviors. No. But when he left, he was taking himself more seriously and his relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu more seriously. Who gets the benefit of that? Who was the catalyst to bring the visitor, the mevakir, closer to Hashem? The chayla. And therefore, that's another reason why, when a person visits the sick, he is affected by the sick person and he becomes closer to Hashem, and that person gets the credit, the schar, the schus for it. It's just incumbent upon us, when we are in this type of situation of visiting, that we should have in mind that we become closer to Hashem by making that visit. Everyone benefits. A guten Shabbos. I am going back into the hospital on Sunday. Mitzvah Hashem, be out after a short time. Kalman Mordechai Ben Sarah. Appreciate any tefillas that you will think of having as such.